These are the dominant seventh chords with a raised and lowered ninth and a raised and lowered fifth. And these are on the 1, 2, 4, 6 string family on D flat. We'll start with the raised fifth chords. And we'll start on the root, we'll start on the third, we'll start on the raised fifth, and then the seventh of the chord. So we'll begin here with a C, B flat, C, B flat, A flat, and E. So chords moving in this direction first. And to this, we can begin by moving the top voice. So E goes to E flat, goes to D flat. So C, B flat, A flat, and D flat, and E flat gives a fourths type sound, because this would be B flat, E flat, and A flat, but for fourths, but this is actually B flat, A flat, and E flat. And of course, a resolution to F, F, C, A, and E. Move the top voice, move the middle voice to C sharp, or F, D, A, and E. You know, any of those resolutions are fine. Just showing how to move the top voice for those chords. Also, now we can move a combination of voices. C, D flat, B flat, and E. So it sounds like a lowered ninth chord. And then, of course, the E flat moving and resolving again to the F. So that's natural and natural resolution. Different combinations here too. C, D flat, A flat, and E. And this almost looks like a D flat chord if we move the E to E flat, and everything down, and then we can resolve. So there's an F chord, C, A, F, and G, or to the top voice to a B for a sharp 11 on the F chord resolution. Moving further down this way, and away from the voicings that go in that manner, we can stay on C, and we can do C, B flat, G flat, and D flat, which we saw last time. So it's an F sharp chord or a G flat chord over a C, and of course that resolves right to the F chord. Also C, A flat, G flat, and B flat, resolving to A, G, F, and C, which is an F add 9 type chord. And we can move the top voice to D flat. Again, that fourths voicing, C, A flat, G flat, and D flat. And resolving perhaps to an F, C, A, F, and B, or C, A, G, and D. Moving the top voice D, moving to a B as well. So we're starting to move in the opposite direction. We'll come back this way, but for right now, moving in the opposite direction. So C, B flat, G flat, and A flat. And that resolves nicely. Remember, these can also resolve to B. So here it is, instead of resolving to F, C, A, F, and G, we can resolve C, B flat, G flat, and A flat to B. Or B sharp 11. So this would be B, F sharp, D sharp, and A sharp, and then make D sharp, E sharp, or F, the top voice to G flat, or C, G sharp, F, and G flat as well. So that can move in this direction. So it moves kind of naturally. Really nice resolution there. Continuing to move in the other direction from here, remembering that these voicings, and we'll come to that when we come to the B flat, C, B flat, G flat, and A flat can be planed and to keep in the same sound family. So with the B flat, and we'll come to those, but just to show that they can work that way. C, B flat, G flat, and A flat moves exactly down to B flat, A flat, E, and F sharp. With that sort of a sound, and then moving B flat, F sharp, E, and G sharp, moving to F or A, F, E, and G, top voice moving to B flat, or again B flat major, B flat, excuse me, B major, B, F sharp, D sharp, and A sharp. Middle voicing from D sharp moving to F as well for the sharp 11. Top moving down to the 13th G sharp. Moving in this direction, the chords that we're dealing with now as substitutes are also, again, the D flat minor major 7 and the E major 7 sharp 5. So if we move further from these C chords that we started out with, all of a sudden we can voice exchange and we can see where the D flat minor major 7 resolves to. So this is D flat, C, A flat, and E, resolving to F major 7, F, C, A, and E. Sounds like Verdi a little bit as that sort of profile to it. Now, if we move the top voice from E to E flat, D flat, C, A flat, and E flat, we can also begin to move the bottom voice. This is E flat, C, A flat, and D flat. D flat, excuse me, E, C, A flat, and D flat. Top voice moves to E flat. So now this is E major 7 sharp 5. E, C, G sharp, and D sharp. We can move the middle voice C to D flat, where you can really see that it's an E major type chord. E, C sharp, G sharp, and D sharp. And that resolves great right there. Or it resolves to B. D sharp, B, A sharp, and C sharp. And the C sharp moving to F, a sharp 11. And also here, D sharp, C sharp, B, and F sharp. So we have very interesting progression, very interesting substitution. Again, we'll start to move in the opposite direction. E, C, B flat, and E flat, C7 sharp 9, resolving to the B with the D sharp, the add 9. Also, we can move the top voice, E flat, to D flat, so it's a flat 9 and resolves to F or F minor. So F, C, A flat, and E flat too. Or this kind of fourth chord, F, E flat, A flat, and D flat. It's a nice resolution. So this is really performing the function of a C7 sharp 9 to a flat 9. So that's E, C, B flat, and E flat. E flat moves to D flat. Now, also, we can exchange here E, C sharp, A sharp, and C. So C7 with a flat 9, resolving to F major 7, F, C, A, and E again. And we can move the top voice down to D, the middle voice to D flat, and it almost sounds as though we have a it's almost like we're planing up this to this. Like two minor major 7 type chords and major 7 sharp 5 chords. Planing them from D flat minor major 7 or E major 7 sharp 5 to D minor and F major 7 sharp 5, D minor major 7, that sort of a thing. You can see how the half steps work. Also, with this, if we move this C to D flat, E, D flat, B flat, and E flat, we can see how just simple planing works theoretically. For instance, this is E, D flat, B flat, and E flat, moving straight up to F, D, B, and E. Move the top voice to, to A, whatever it is. You can move down F, C, A, and G. You can collapse into that chord nicely. So that shows that end of it. Moving forward, we said E major 7 sharp 5. And also the D flat minor major 7, which is E, D flat, C, and A flat. Now if we release the C to B flat, we've got the resolution to F. So this acting as a C dominant with double alterations, resolving to F, E, D, and G, etc. Now if we move E, D sharp, C, and A flat. That's a bit of a stretch, going to the B flat, so that making the G sharp go to A sharp or B flat, and then resolving to F. F, E, D, and A. Again, it can also resolve to the tritone, the B chord right there as well, or the B chord here. So all of these resolutions can go to B, or B minor, F sharp, D, C sharp, and E, for example. That's sort of a sound. E moving to G sharp. Moving ahead, now this E major 7 sharp 5, E, D sharp, C, and G sharp. This can move to C sharp, this C, and that facilitates the B flat a little better. And again, you can see how the resolution works very nicely in that sense. Could be F major, F's, E, C, and G, or F minor. F, E flat, D flat, and G. F, E flat, C, and A flat, moving to B flat. Either one is fine there. Also, voice exchange. For instance, in these sorts of areas, now once you start to get into this, E, C sharp, C, and D sharp, you can exchange out. Looks like an E13 flat 9, E flat 13 flat 9, E flat, D flat, C, and E. And the top, the E flat, E, C, and G sharp. And we can hear that resolution right to an F minor. It sounds very nice. Or it can go to a B minor. But typically it could go to the major, the F major. So that gives that sound. Now going back the other direction, E, E flat, C, and D flat. So we have the double alteration on the 9th. Sharp 9 on C and a flat 9. Resolve it to F major 7. Like we saw before and we saw earlier. And in the next installment of this, as additional thoughts, we'll work with the 5th and the 7th for these chords.